Like, what's going on, guys? Let's go over camera settings now. We're going to go over what pro players use and what I recommend, what you shouldn't use, and we're also going to go over the rush camera angles as well. But let's first start off with the main ones, because I think that's the main reason you come for. The best single player camera. Now, there's technically, I would put it down to three. Okay, a new one this year is the tactical camera. I just want to quickly show you now. This is even further out now. To be honest, it's actually not a bad camera angle. You can see, for example, like here, you can basically see the most information even beyond what co-op is. But I feel like this is probably just a bit too far away inside the game. So although this is a good camera angle, maybe if you are one to play career mode or something like that, that could be a better camera angle. And you can see as well on the right hand side, you can even see a bit of the drawing on it. But to be honest, I think this is just too far. I think co-op probably goes in the best. Don't forget, but a lot of people use this. People always say, oh, pro players don't use this. That is incorrect. There's numerous number of pro players that use the co-op camera angle. I think the problem people struggle with camera angles is perception. Because, for example, if you come from a camera angle like broadcast, more of an extreme example, the camera angle is slanted. So in fact, when you're defending and you change from using broadcast, what you've used to been using for like 5 to 10 years or whatever, or even a few years, and then you change to co-op, which is more flat, more rigid, but also allows you to see the exact separation and is more balanced depending. Because don't forget, every different stadium has a different camera angle. So co-op still works the best. Look, if you're asking me, you want to go to custom camera settings, and the key thing is the height. So you can see just in the background, and if you're part of my Patreon series, we go over a full explanation analysis of why the co-op camera angle is probably the best camera angles in the game. But you can see the more top down you are with a higher height, you have better separation and better viewing between two different players. So let's say there's two different players, the more slanted the camera angle. Like let's say, for example, you look at this. If you hold two fingers like this, and I'm looking from this side, I can't see a distance between these two players. For example, like this. But if I show you this angle, you can see the difference. So the higher up, the more top-down the view you have, the better it will be for defending and understanding how much space you have. The zoom. Now, this is the one where I would say it depends. Okay. Now, personally speaking, as I said to you, the tactical camera angle is way too far apart. It's actually a really decent option, but with a tactical camera angle, if you are going to use tactical, you can zoom in. But you can see, do you see how the camera angle is slightly slanted? Do you see that? I don't like that. So although it allows you to see the most information on the pitch, the camera angle is slanted. Whereas, for example, you can see co-op, you can see it's most vertical that you could probably get. Do you see that? I'm just going to show you here. There's a quick example. If I go back to camera settings, and this is the way you can check it, by the way. You can see like here, if I just pause the game and for a second, you can see like here, see how vertical the camera angle is? And that is the real benefit of using the co-op camera angles, that you can see the separation. So what I'd recommend is co-op. Do you want to get better at FC25? Now, before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you joined my FC school and you didn't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say this because I've been running my FC school for many, many years, and thousands of students join and even stay on. We go over complete in-depth gameplay tutorials showing you both the theory of something and the gameplay examples using real-life examples in a structured format that's like a course. The videos on a systematic learning system teaching you everything from the core mechanics, the basics to the meta, so you can get better as a whole, with explanations that go beyond the scope of my YouTube channel. FC School has already started with every single tactical layout, focuses, meta cards, and learn the meta before it even becomes the meta. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better at FC25, patreon.com/nilguides, or click the link down below. Now, when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos, more than my YouTube channel, in fact, with new videos on FC25 getting constantly added, so you'll never run out of content. The biggest mistake people do is they spend thousands of dollars on FP points every year, thinking this will make them better, but it won't. But now it's time for you to make that change. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, just send me a message and I'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guides guarantee. Links down below in the description, patreon.com/nilguides. 20 height, and I'd recommend, in my opinion, 0 zoom. Unless you're sitting, like if you've got a monitor, like you can see my monitor's arm length away. I'm actually touching my monitor now. I would recommend 0 zoom. If you're playing, for example, on a TV and you're sitting a bit further away, then of course you can zoom in a bit more. So I'd recommend co-op for most players, and then you can go 0 zoom. We'll come back to this in a second. Then we're going to go over tele broadcast. Now, this would be the other option that you can use. Now, the only reason I don't like this, as you can see, you can't see the top end of the pitch. You see that? And that's why I just don't like the camera angle. Now, to be honest, is it better for dribbling? Yes. You will see a lot of top tier pro players use this formation, but the truth is because they're constantly analyzing the radar. If you're sitting here and you're watching this video and you're like, Neil, I don't look at the radar. I should be using the radar, but I don't. And you're not glancing at it all the time. Then in my opinion, don't use telebroadcast, because even we're just talking about this actually. There'll be a podcast coming out for the Foot Weekly podcast. Actually talking about this, and I was explaining. I don't want to spoil it, but that'll be coming out very, very soon. But I was explaining, for example, the crop camera angle. Even if you see information that you're not actually looking at, peripherally you see that, it helps you make better decisions both from attacking and defending. So unless you're looking at the radar, then telebroadcast, I would say, would be more of a higher end. In my opinion, you want the high, again, look, you see in the background, you see how it's more flat. You don't want that. You want it to be as much top down as possible for all camera angles. I would recommend something like 17:3. 17:2, 17:3 is what the pros use. I'll be honest, 20:3 or 20:5 for a good round number is a good one to use. But you can see, look, the biggest downside is, look, the top end. Let's say, for example, I'm defending. How do I know where? Look, how do I look? I can't see, for example, at this end of the pitch. Do you see that? Like, think about here. I can't see now the left wing, the left back, for example. But if I go back here and I go back to camera settings and then I go to co-op, you can see now I can see that distance. So that is what I'd recommend. Look, my best advice, look, let's say you want co-op camera angle, but you want it to be as zoomed in as possible. I would say go to 20. At least that way you're a bit further out and you replicate telebroadcast as best as possible. So let's say, like, Neil, like, I need to zoom in. I really need to zoom in. Then you can use 20 height and 0 zoom. One thing I want to talk about is the ball tracking speed. Now, with camera angles, of course, there's some people that just talk absolute nonsense. Whoever tells you cop makes the game slower, I don't know what La La Land they're living in. How can the game be slower for one person and then be quicker for the other person? Of course, the more zoomed out the camera angle is, the slower it's going to appear. So you can see, like here with co-op, the game is going to, in terms of perception, feel slower because it's more zoomed out. And just to give you a bit of an example, I can't believe people actually, have to even actually go over this. But like if I go to dynamic, you can see, look here, because the camera angle is so zoomed in, the game just feels much faster because the camera angle is moving so much. I know it's common sense, but trust me, the amount of people that think that the cop camera angle makes the game slower is just unbelievable. I don't understand, but anyway, that's another thing altogether. What you can do though is people say, okay, look, I like the cop camera angle, and to be honest, this is the game where you should be playing slow. People like to be, but you know, how can I make the game and perceive the game to feel quicker? Let me give you a no guys top tip. Okay, you go to the camera settings. I have 20:0 and the ball tracking speed. Yeah. Maybe in another video we'll go over penalty area zoom with different camera angles. But ball tracking speed, put this to 20, okay? Now watch this. See how the game just feels faster? Because every time the ball gets passed, the camera angle pans very, very quickly. So if you're like me and you're like to me, like, you know, no, the game just feels too slow, then you can do something like this. And you can see, look, I don't really like it. I think 20 is a bit too much. But just as an example, you can see how much the camera angle is panning. And you can see, like, if I do a driven pass, for example, look how quickly the game does feel. Look, you can see, like, here, doing that pass is there, doing that pass is there, and I can do an L1 triangle. And you can see if I do, for example, an L1 triangle across the pitch, do you see how the camera angle is moving? So if you want to, let's say you're like, okay, I want to increase the perception, you can, of course, put the ball tracking speed to 20. Now, personally speaking, I leave it on 0. No matter what perception you get, when the game actually feels slower, you'll actually play better because you'll make more informed. And as I said, with cop, you can see everything on a pitch. So that's what I'd recommend. 20 height, 0 zoom, and ball tracking speed on 0. But of course, you can always fine tune this for yourself. As I said to you, if you've got a TV and you're sitting a bit further away, you can zoom in. Otherwise, let's say you're like, I use the radar, I don't want to use co-op for whatever reason, then you can go with telebroadcast. You can either go 17:2 or 20:5. But again, it's all about fine tuning. You know, I have good vision, but maybe in 10 years time, I might not have the best vision anymore, and I might need to zoom in even more. So always fine tune. It's like sitting in a car. You know, you and your wife might share a car, for example, but you'll have different seat positions. So it's all I'm trying to say to you always. Fine tune to your own play style, and definitely give out the ball tracking speed a go. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That's just the camera angle settings. Thanks for watching. Take it easy and I'll catch you next time. Peace.